Evening, everyone. Bit late. Obviously, most people watching this. If anyone's going to watch this, it'll probably be tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. But we're knocking on what, 11 o'clock-ish, half 11. No idea what time it is now. But yeah, I've got a few things I just thought of for this video. I said I'd do 2 this week. This would be obviously the first one. So just on a couple of players. Sorry, I'm just making myself a brew minute. Well, 2 players in particular. 2 players of a similar position. Some would say a similar, get out the light. Some would say a similar value. I disagree. Some would say a similar talent. I would also disagree. But yeah, similar positions. And I'm going to talk about Allan Maximin, the maestro, le numéro 2, and Anthony Gordon, Everton's young up-and-coming talent who, up until the last 6 months or so, was their shining hope, a representation of the fan base, one of their own. I'm not going to go too much into what it means to play for Everton because I've not got a clue. I don't know many Everton fans. I know one quite well. But yeah, I've never seen it. I was meant to go watch Newcastle versus Everton last, was it February, when Tripp scored that amazing goal, the free kick. I think Jamal Lascelles scored and Ryan Fraser, if I recall. Went up to Newcastle, did the stadium tour, all that, but we had to come back. But anyway, so yeah, I can't really. Let's talk about Anthony Gordon. Yeah, I've got it written down there. Let's talk about him. I can't really speak about Everton too much. I know there's a bit of needle between Everton and Newcastle fans. We saw it was a bit of a feisty game at SJP this season. I think Anthony Gordon was involved in nothing really to talk about. A little exchange. I think Fabian Schär, Trippier, quite rapidly shut him up. Yeah, Anthony Gordon. I've heard on TalkSport, I've seen reports that Everton want 60 million quid. Apparently that's what they're telling Newcastle, 60 million quid for Anthony Gordon. Now, he came onto the scene and Everton was struggling. I think he was coming into the team when Duncan Ferguson took over as like the interim caretaker manager. Now, I think, was that before or after Carlo? I can't remember. But anyway, he was shown as a friend of mine, Chris, mentioned him to me. He's an Chris Everton fan, and he's from Liverpool as well. So, you know, knows the club. Yeah, the team at the time didn't look like they cared, or they were struggling for motivation, or effort wasn't being applied. And he was one that really showed that, broke through as a young lad, played quite well. And did bits for the team. Last season, I think he really stepped up. And then, he showed a lot of talent, a lot of quality. He's predominantly a wide player or a forward player. I don't think he would play as a striker. I think he's capable of playing left wing, right wing, as a more traditional winger, but probably more likely as like a wide forward, like in the front three, in the mould of someone like a Miggy Allan or an Allan Maximin, or possibly as a number 10. It's all sort of gone wrong for Anthony Gordon recently. I think he's been criticised all season. Everton have been really struggling. He was subject of some abuse, chants, negative comments, whatever you want to call them, from Everton fans. Was it last week or a few weeks ago? Basically accusing him of not caring, not being fit to wear the shirt, yada yada yada. Now he's been linked, coming in, bro. He's been linked with Newcastle all window, but that rumours really started to gain traction in the last week or so. Now, today it's come out that, or last couple of days it's come out that Newcastle have been trying to get him for about 30 million quid plus add-ons. Everton are saying that's not enough. The figure, as I've mentioned before, being banded around is 60 million quid. Now, I know players' values have skyrocketed in recent years. Thank you, PSG. But I think 60 million, and I'm not trying to knock him. There's nothing personal, but I don't think he's done anything to warrant a £60 million fee. Now, I might be wrong in that regard, but I think if Jack Grealish was overrated at 100 million, and Mr. Anthony Gordon certainly overrated at 60. Now, from what I've seen against Anthony Gordon, excuse me, I don't want to say, oh, I think he's a prick, because I don't know him. From what I've seen of him is he does look like a bit of a gobshite. But saying that, he's the kind of person that you want on your team, not against you. I've heard it's come up from certain Everton fans I've seen online, YouTube, etc., questioning his attitude. Now, whenever he's played against us, he does seem one that will go, a bit of a terrier, like a bit like Ryan Fraser in that regard. You know, he is a bit of a terrier that he, you know, very abrasive, confrontational. Now, the person that springs to mind straight away there, I know it's a completely different sport, and in rugby union you have to be abrasive, confrontational, physical, etc. But anyone watching this is into rugby. Owen Farrell, England back, inside centre, but most predominantly fly half, leader, exemplary player, but a player that opposition fans, no, rugby's different, like to dislike sometimes, because he is on that edge, and he looks like he will be a cunt to play against, but you want him on your team. Now, the main thing that turns me off with Anthony Gordon, that is, I've heard today, is he has allegedly told Everton he's missed a few training sessions, and he's told them he ain't coming back. Now, there's several sides to this coin. Firstly, Premier League footballers we know nowadays, they all, vast majority have agents. Some have entourages like fucking Floyd Mayweather. They got their team are telling them what to do, advising them what to do. So on one side, who's giving them this advice? Who's telling them, Anthony, that's a good idea? For certain people, suggest that perhaps it's the buying club or the attempting to buy club. I'd like to think that Eddie Howe would have nothing to do with those sort of shenanigans and that sort of, let's call it how it is, disgraceful behaviour. You're an employee, you have a contract, and until that contract is terminated, you turn up to your place of work, young man. Secondly, he's 21 years old. I've heard, was it Darren Bent or Andy Goldstein on TalkSport Drive was saying, oh, he's just a kid, he's just a baby. No, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. Yes, as Andy said, a lot of 21-year-olds don't know what they want to do with their life. You know, he said, well, you don't know who you're going to marry. Well, you can have a 50-year-old who's gone through a divorce and looking to marry again. They don't know who they're going to settle down with. So that's a load of crap. You know, you've got you've got 18, 19-year-olds going off the war. You know, so I'm not having. I think at 21 you were more than old enough to not necessarily make decisions, but be accountable. Yeah, you are old enough to make decisions. You know, be accountable for your own decision. Be a man. You know, at 21 years old, you are not a fucking child. And perhaps that sounds harsh, but I'm not having that at all. Not having that at all. So yeah, I think that's absolutely horrendous, and it's such a, you take away the shit attitude. What a gamble. What a gamble this is, because if Newcastle pull the plug and there's no one else, if we pull the plug and say, do you know what, because what's the date today? It's Thursday. It's the 26th today. We're looking at the Friday the 27th tomorrow. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 5 days left of the window. Newcastle might be thinking, do you know what, we've been trying for a while now, we're not getting anywhere with this. Eddie might say, oh, I don't know if I want that attitude in my dressing room, that character. Where does that leave Anthony Gordon? We pull the plug. See you later, pal. Thanks, but no thanks. Mashiri, you've been fucking us about. We can't come to an agreement. We can't come to a compromise. We're gonna pack our bags, bugger off, and go and pursue other avenues. Where does that leave Anthony Gordon? Everton are in a complete shambles as a football club, and I feel for the fans, because you know they've had to live in the shadow of Liverpool for so long. Scousers are a passionate people. Might not always agree with some of the things that come out of that part of the world. I agree with a lot of what they say in terms of politics and class system and yada yada, but that's not what we're talking about. But they are in a complete shambolic situation. It's toxic, it's abrasive, it's confrontational, it's simmering, bubbling. There's a mass discord between the fans, the players and the board. They've just sacked the manager. Anthony Gordon has just completely fucked his Everton career, one way or another. Now, they might forgive him. On one hand, they might go, oh, he's one of our own. He's made a mistake. On the other hand, him being a local guy might go against him. He should know better. Now, I'm not a Scouser, I'm not a Geordie, and I support Newcastle and I want them to win as much as anyone. But fucking hell, I could get that opinion. Now, if that, yeah, so I think he's fucked his Everton career. Really, silly man. But there we go. Am I in favour of the transfer? Probably not. I think 60 million quid could be spent better elsewhere. Diaby from Leverkusen. I say that, I've not really thought about it. There are other options. I would be pushing to try and get Ruben Neves from Wolves. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. He's Wolves captain and they've just got a new manager who seems to be turning things around. I'd also be pushing at James Maddison and Yuri Tielemans. I know they're not like-for-like replacements for Anthony Gordon, but players we need. So that's my stance on Anthony Gordon. Now, Allan Maximin has copped a lot of stick this season. We've not seen an awful lot of him. Not as much as I'd like. There's many a time sorry Bruno, it's the dog by the way, not our number 39. There's loads of times I've seen and look at the lineups and I think, fuck me, why is ASM not playing? Particularly when we're a bit short in the midfield of a bit of bite. Sometimes you think, oh, Joe Linton, all right, he's playing well, but sticking back into midfield, let's have Maxi out wide left, just to give Joe Willock a break, or I know Sean Longstaff is a specialist in that right centre midfield, but give him a bit of a break. You know, I was surprised to see him play, to see Bruno play against Palace after his ankle problems in the previous game, and I thought this is an ideal time to put Joe Linton back into midfield and get ASM out wide, but it did not happen. He's copped a lot of stick from the fans this season. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I don't want him to go anywhere. Apparently AC Milan are interested. Newcastle have told them to pack their bags. He's shown in the last couple of games that he is a mercurial talent, that he's got it in his locker. And he just needs a good run in the team to prove us all, not prove us all wrong, because I've not criticised him. I think he struggled to adapt to Eddie's style of play, but I think he's getting there. He's really getting there. I think Eddie is facilitating him, he's teaching him. The other lads are bringing him in, and I think he will strike up a nice understanding with our new number 14 when he gets into the groove of starting games, playing more game time, etc. Yeah, I think we just a large section of the fan base need to give AS. There's been so much, oh, sell him, grab the money and go. Just remember, I know we've evolved as a team, but remember how many times he saved our ass, how many times he was the only outlet, he was the only shining light in a pile of shit at times. And he can be again. He can be again. You know, he's again still a relatively young player. You know, if he was 29, 30, which was, you know, it was only a year. I'm turning 29 this year. It's fucking crazy. Scary. But if he was that age at the latter stage of his career, you'd start to think maybe it's time to move him on, but still plenty of time, and we are particularly light in the forward areas at the moment. So at this stage of the transfer window, having not brought anyone in yet, it would be counterintuitive and a little bit naive to let him go. There's my thoughts on two players, Allan Maximin, Anthony Gordon. If you said to me, you've got to keep one, sell one, and well, just choose one over the other, it'd be ASM all day long. Let's not forget how much he cares about us as the fans. The affinity that he's got with the fans is lovely. It's something that we want with the players. Perhaps more than other fan bases, I don't know. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and see you later.